Welcome to In the Name of the Cosmos. My name is Siri Prakash. I'm a Vedic astrologer. In today's video, we're examining the first new moon cycle of 2023 in the sidereal sign of Capricorn at 7 degrees in the nakshatra of Uttara Ashadha, a star field ruled by the Vishvedevas, the collection of all of the divine light, all of the gods and Devi's light, illuminating and spotlighting through our conscious lens, the moon, asking the question, who are we and what are we doing? Now, Saturn rules two signs in the zodiac. He rules Aquarius and he rules Capricorn, but he expresses quite differently in both of these areas. Capricorn is the female sign of Saturn. And it's where we feel things emotionally, but we experience it psychologically. And this Capricorn new moon is really how we understand and have the capacity to see what makes us tick, what makes us set up certain patterns and why, how we can examine the war and peace within us all. You know, Saturn is a very deliberate planet. It's very frugal and it's very calculating, right? So it's the Lord of karma, the measurement of time. He's the Lord of our longevity. He rules our prana. He rules that life force. And through this new moon cycle, he's really teaching us how to measure and master our inner workings, how we can use our perceptive lens and our perceptive space to look more clearly, to recognize with simplicity the way in which our consciousness, the moon, plays out every day. So when we open our eyes, the movie of us starts to play out. So we are the director, the producer, and the writer of our moon, of our perceptive lens. We condition and set ourselves up, no matter what our conditioning was in early childhood or the relationship we have. We make a choice to shift the narrative or not shift the narrative. We make the choice of what we consume. We make the choice of what we react to. We make the choice of what gives us the hit that makes us feel excited and alive. And these are not always positive things. We can get into an interlock with somebody and feel that this gives us a sense of purpose because we're agitated and we can be angry and point the finger, but yet we're not actually following our soul's desire. We're actually only in a state of feeling charged and making us feel like we're doing something, but we're actually being distracted from where our soul and our heart long to be. So this new moon, is very logical. It has this elevated state, like an executive or a CEO of you looking down and saying, here's your production of time. And where you ought to be is here, but where you are is here, because you're not setting yourself up to reach the goal. You're distracted in something else that makes you feel energized, but it doesn't make you feel alive. So it's, again, this place where we experience it emotionally, but then from a distance and a logical way, we can look at it and see these patterns and these setups don't work. And because it's this coolness of Saturn and this darkened moon of Shiva, we have this ability to generate, organize, and deliver or destroy this G.O.D force within this new moon. Because through this coolness, we can look and experience how we feel and where our desire really is, what we truly long for, and where we want to be delivered, and then start to plan and set up and execute against this. Right? So it's not about hustling. It's not about hustling at all, because Saturn is a slow planet, right? So Saturn is slow and he's deliberate, but he wants to deliver a base. So it's more about how the production line of each of your day is measured against what your heart truly desires, right? So through this Vishvedeva, through this light that's being illuminated, it's this blessing to see, we want you to overcome, right? Because Uttara Ashadha nakshatra is often described as the victory, right? But the victory of what? Right? So it's the victory over our conscious mind, like how we start to apply conscious awareness. And conscious awareness is not about being like Buddha, but more like how our awareness is measuring our day. Because, spirituality and our daily life are interlinked, exact. So just by saying you're spiritual, whatever spiritual means for you, it does not mean that you're effective. It's also how you set up your daily life in accordance to the harmony and the cycle of what you truly desire. That's when you become realized, is by following what's deep within your heart, what you naturally want to do, not by doing something that you think is good, not by doing something that makes you feel charged that may not be beneficial, because we can get into interlocks and we can get into habits that make us feel busy, but we're actually not doing anything. We're just on a loop and on a loop and on a loop. So this new moon cycle with this heightened awareness is looking down, shining light into this darkened space going, it's not where I want to be. And it makes it really easy because it's cool, So at the heart of every water sign is Saturn. And so when we look at this, we can see how beautiful this construct is as our first new moon, because we can look at how we feel about something, but it's not overheated. It's not explosive. It's not overly dramatic and filled with tears. It's just like enough. This is what Saturn brings in. It's just enough. This is what Shiva brings into this new moon. It's just enough, right? And it's not overflowing. It's just kind of cool and going, I'm done. And this gives freedom. It gives freedom to all. It gives freedom and space to all to make the shift. Now, Saturn from the new moon is second. So he just moved into the sign of Aquarius just a few days earlier, and we haven't yet had the chance to experience him yet there because he's so newly arrived. But when we look from the moon as the starting point of the chart for the cycle, the Saturn is second from the moon. And here we can see he's bringing in an awareness to our values. What is important, the thing that we want to bring in, right? The thing that's within us also that we want to bring out. It's also the place of speech, right? Second house is also speech, and it's the tongue, and it's also about what we consume. So not only consume through our mouth, but also what we consume in books, in media, television, relationships, all that we place within. This is Saturn also looking in his own sign of Aquarius, kind of coolly going, okay, let's start to measure what we're bringing in. This is also very much in harmony with the agenda of the new moon, because what we consume is what we become. What we believe is what we become. What we repeat is what we become, right? So what we grab with our minds and our surroundings is what we become. So this new moon is really preparing us to stabilize our own inner universe, to be present with honesty with where we are and where we want to be, and having the coolness to just naturally roll it out. Just saying, this is the truth, just delivering it without heat, without a lot of tears and water, just delivering this is the truth and this is what I'm going to do. And it becomes very final because Saturn is final. He's very final. And it also brings in this compassion to let things go, to really have compassion and say, okay, this is where I am, but this is where I want to be. It's not emotional. It's cool. It's just really cool. It's quiet. And it gives us this allowance to let things go, right? It also talks about with Saturn being second from the moon and also being within 2 days after the new moon, there's going to be a planetary war and a graha yuddha between Venus and Saturn. And it talks about how this circulating of resources, not only with society, but with ourselves, to redirect our thoughts and our actions equally with courage, right? Courage is a muscle that has to be developed. So it's about this ability to share and to give and redistribute our resources. It's a good time to be introspective. It's a good time to observe. It's a good time to just allow this awakening that needs to take place and see what needs to let go and give energy and space for things to take hold, for this newness to take hold, to be a little more quiet and be a little bit more silent and not talk so excessively and just be present like Lord Shiva. Just to be present, even like Saturn, very present. When Saturn comes into our lives, we know it, right? So he's asleep most of the time, but when he comes into our lives, we know it and we think, oh dear. So if we take the time to really just be present and to be honest and start to address where we are and have coolness and also relaxed state to really just address it, we start to build our own success. And it's in that silent, sacred space where we hear our spirit's call. I wish you a beautiful new moon cycle. May you be blessed. May your family be blessed. May Lord Shiva bless you. And I look forward to see you in the next video. Take care.